Hello viewers, how are you? I hope you are fine and well. And you are watching my YouTube channel. And today I want to discuss the steps to develop the detailed baseline schedule. What are the steps you need and what are the documents required to develop a detailed baseline schedule? If there is a contract awarded to your organization and your organization asks you to develop the baseline schedule, so what will be the steps you have to follow? So here is the list of the documents required to develop a detailed baseline schedule. The very first document you should know about the contract document. The contract document, you will expect the milestone dates, and if there are mentioned the phases, the zones, so you have also to expect from the contract documents the milestone dates for the finish dates and also for the zones, and maybe there will be the phases. So you have to expect all the milestone dates, and you can use this milestone dates in your baseline schedule. The other thing is the detailed BQ. You must enhance a detailed BQ where it mentions a list of the activities and also there is a cost assigned to all the activities. From the detailed BQ, you will find the activity list and also you can extract the WBS. And the third document is the scope of the work. From the scope of the work, you will know what is the scope of the work assigned to our organization, awarded to our organization. For example, you have the infrastructure work awarded to your organization. You must check first the scope of the work inside. What is included in the scope of the work? For example, we have infrastructure work like it included roads, it included the parking, it included the walkways, it included the landscaping, hardscaping, etc. So first you have to check the scope of the work. From the scope of the work, you need the layouts and the drawings. So after the scope of the work, you need the layouts and the drawings. From the drawings and the layouts, you will find your construction methodology. Your construction methodology will include from where to start and where to end, and what scope of the work you have to start first and what you have to start to the next. So you have to develop the construction methodology before to develop a detailed baseline schedule. So these are the documents you need before to develop the baseline schedule. I will move forward to the next slide. What are the next requirements you need to develop the baseline schedule? So let's move on. So these are the steps we have to follow. The first step is read the contract. From the contract, we have to extract the milestone dates and the overall duration of the project. And the second thing is read the BQ. From the BQ, you will extract the WBSs and also you will extract the activity list with respect to cost. And also you have to review the layouts and the drawings as we have already discussed. And then from the BQ, you will generate the WBSs and activities under each WBSs. And finally, you will review the activity list and finalize your activity list. Now you are done up to the activities. You have finalized the activities, you have made the WBS. Now what to do, you have to assign the quantities to each activities. So you have to find out the quantity you have to take, you have to make the estimation, and the estimation you will got from the estimation department. The estimation department will give you the detailed estimation for each activity, how much is the quantities for each activities mentioned. So now you are done with up to the estimation. You have to find out the WBS, you have to find out the activity list, and you have to find out the quantities for each activity list. And then now you have all these things in hand. Now you have to calculate the resources. For the resources, first of all, you have to find out the productivity for each activities. Based upon that productivity list, you will find out the labor resources, the equipments, and then you have to estimate the resources based upon that productivity list. And when you are done with the resource calculation, the equipments calculation, now you can find the duration. Based upon the productivity in hand, the resources in hand, you can easily find the duration, and we will discuss all these steps in detail in our future videos. Now you have done the activities, you have calculated the resources, you have calculated the quantities for each activities. Now you can sequence the activities in the sequence, what you need in the contract, in the sequence, what is the based upon the construction methodology. So after that, now you finalize the sequence, and then now assign the resources and the quantities, the labor resources, the material resources, and the non-labor resources. And then you can now develop the schedule. And now you have developed the schedule. Now optimize the schedule with the contract documents. All the milestones are accurate, and also optimize with the PQ. All the activities are incorporated. The cost is accurate, the quantities are accurate, and now assign resource codes and activity codes. The resource codes and the activity codes will help you while sorting, while filtering, so it will be very helpful for you in the future updates. You know, assign the activity codes, the resource codes. Now you have done all the things. You have found out the WBSs, you have found out the activities, you have found out the resources, the equipments, you have assigned the resources, the equipments, and you optimize it with the contract, and now all the things is done. Now you are ready to submit to a consultant. Now let's move to the forward. What are the standards you have to follow while making the detailed baseline schedule? So in the next slide, we will discuss what are the standards you need. Now we will discuss about the standard required to develop the baseline schedule. It is also called the DCMA 14 points. The first one is the logic description, where it is mentioned that open-ended activities are not allowed. Daily activities are also not allowed. The open-ended activity means there is no predecessor, there are no successor. So for this type of activities are not allowed. There must be a logical relationship with all of the activities. And the second one is the lead description. Lead description, there should be no lead in the activities. The lead means the negative leg, so the negative leg is also, it is not allowed. And the third one is the lead description. So the total number of activities which have the lead should not exceed 5% of the activities within the schedule. So this is also the standard. And also the finish to start relationship, the total number of the finish to start relationship should be more than 90%. And also the fifth one is about hard constant. Hard constant are usually not allowed. And you can use the soft constant, and we will discuss in details in our videos. And the high floor description, under the construction, the number of activities with total floor more than 2 months, 52 working days should not exceed 5%. So these are all the standards under the DCMA 14 point. You have to follow all these. Regarding the negative floor description, no activity should have the total floor less than 0 working days. It means negative total floor. So the negative total floor is also, it is not allowed in the schedule. And about the high duration description, the total number of activities that your duration longer than 45 hours working days should not exceed 5%. If you have more than 5% activities, the consultant will not approve the schedule, so it should be less than 5%. And regarding the invalid dates, you have to check with the milestone, you have to check with the contract, you have to check the hardcore standing, you have any client hardcore thing, so there will be an invalid dates will happen. So these are also not allowed. And the resource descriptions, these are not that much important. It is that under the DCMA 14 point, it will be discuss with the consultant engineer what we have to do with the resource description and what type of description consultant needs. And also regarding the critical activities, the total number of the critical activities should be within the 8 to 15%. If it is less than 8%, consultant will not approve the schedule. Okay, because it will be very flexible and it will be fair the contractor. And if it is more than 15%, it will be very hard for the contractor to achieve that critical part. So it should be very fair, it should be in between 8% and 15%. And the project ID, you can find out the ID from the contract document. It is mentioned, it will be mentioned in the contract document. So there, so you can extract the ID for that. And also the activity ID, you can also extract the activity IDs for that also. So now moving forward, we have the resource dictionary. You have to create your resource dictionary, your resource ID, and you have to assign the cost for all resources. And the calendar, that will be discussed with the consultant. Okay, you have to assign the calendar based upon the consultant discussion. Usually for the milestone, they should use the 6 days or 5 days calendar. And for the consultant review and approval, they must need 5 days. This is the practice in the Gulf countries. Usually, they want to assign the 5 days calendar for the review, approval, and for the construction activities, it should be the 6 days. And also the layouts and approval activity, it should be not less than the 10 working days. Now we will move to the general WBS. This general WBS is not under the 14 DCMA 14 point, but it will be very helpful to develop the baseline schedule. So you can pause the video and check the details here. You will have the manuals, you will have the engineering WBS, you have the procurement, you have construction, and you have the S-band. So you can check all these in details. Now, there are certain methodologies you have to measure the progress. Some of the engineers are using cost, and some of the engineers are using the non-labor units. Most of the engineers are using the non-labor units. For the non-labor units, you have to just assume the number of units. For example, here we assume the 10,000 units. So you have to assign based upon this 5% to mobilization, 4% to engineering, 6% to procurement, and 80% to construction, and then so on for the testing and commissioning and for the build. And this is not the standard procedure. I am saying this is not the standard procedure. This is just for your health. Here I am talking about the non-labor units. You can discuss with the consultant engineer. Now let's move forward to the next slide, where we will explain the list of the documents required to submit for the detailed baseline schedule. What are the documents required to submit? If you have made the Excel file, you have made the detailed baseline schedule. Now you are going to submit it to the consultant. So what are the documents you need to submit to the consultant engineer. So this is the list of the documents you will have need to submit with the baseline. The first one is the baseline XCR file. You have to submit the XCR file, and then you have to submit the PDF file and the baseline in the Excel format. And the most important is the critical part. And your first one is the progress escrow and the cash flow. You will have to find the weekly and the monthly basis, depending upon the consultant requirements, and the manpower histogram, the equipment histogram, vehicle. You have to see what you have done so far. You have to show to the consultant. I did what are the steps I went through. So you have to submit the calculation sheet also. And the most important thing is the schedule narrative. The schedule narrative will contain all the steps, all the requirement, all the standards you have followed. What are the procedure? What are the steps? What was your construction methodology? So all the things will be mentioned there. What are the WBs you have used? What are the activities ID? What are the resource ID? What are the activity codes? What are the resource codes? And also how much resource do you assign and what type of resource do you assign and how much is the cost assigned. So all the things will be mentioned in the schedule narrative. Now move forward, requirement for the monitor and control. The first step, after you submitted the XCR file to your consultant with all the requirements, all the documents, now the consultant gave approval to your XCR file and he told you to update the XCR file as per the site. So what you have to do? You have to assign first the baseline and then you will start updating the schedule. So after updating the schedule, you have to apply the rituals as for the sites, okay? And then you have to maintain the of drawing logs or drawing log. You will have mentioned all the drawing mentioned there with the detailed dates from where it starts, from where it begins, and how many drawings there is submit. Okay, and also there will be the material log. You will have the material log. The material log should be in line with the procurement, and the procurement should align with the construction activities. For example, if you have planned the activities, so up to that, the material should be at site. So you have to do the break calculation for the procurement of the material, and then from the starting of the procurement of the material, you have first to submit the material to the consultant engineer, and he will check you through. So all these steps should be in line with each other. It's the material log, the procurement log, and the construction activity should be in line with each other. And then after the updates, after all these things, the consultant engineer will ask you to submit a weekly report, and he will discuss in details what are the things you have to include in the weekly report and the same in the monthly report. And also the consultant will ask you for the look ahead, and we will also discuss how to develop the look ahead and what are the filters we have to use for the look ahead. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. If you need the document, just write down your email in the comment section. I will share the document with you people, and stay there and be happy.